yourself.
Hey everybody, it's another episode of Go Flix Yourself. My name is Ben Conowitz, and with me as always is the fart documentary to my Ken Burns documentary about the Civil War, Brad Perlman.
Hey, that's me.
Wait, that's the fart noise? Okay, that's icky. Oh, and with us as always, Nate Loucks.
I've never regretted my life more than this moment right
Wait
now.
a minute, Nate doesn't get like a nice little thing. He got one on the first one, even though you fucked it up.
No, I feel like I'm just gonna say, like, I always just want to shit on you, and after that's over,
You don't
then
have
I'm
to
like,
shit
and
on Nate.
and
Make
Nate's
it
here
a nice one.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So-
guys. It's
so-
fine. It's fine. I'm fine.
Can I just say, like, from now on, should I have done like the You're the Fart documentary to Nate Loucks' Ken Burns Civil War documentary? Like, I would just make the comparison about,
No, because then you don't get one.
and I'm fine with that.
You got to figure out a way to be better.
Hey guys, we have a guest.
Hi.
Who is it?
Alex Pappas is
Whoa!
here.
Hello, Alex.
Hey,
Fan
buddy.
favorite out of a poll from all of our thousands of subscribers. They
Yep.
named Alex as the favorite guest.
Yep.
That's right.
3 people,
Yeah,
So
including me and Brad.
we picked.
it's great to be here. I appreciate it as the first guest to come back. I want to be a small confession. I did plan on coming in and hazing Nate pretty significantly.
It's fine.
Not using his name, him asking me questions and addressing you guys instead. Really trying to set a tone for what other guests would do to Nate going forward.
I like this.
But then I listened to the first episode thinking you guys said format change, so I wanted to make sure that nothing really did change.
Yep.
Safe. And I listened to the episode, and about halfway through that episode, Nate joined in on some musical improv with Brad.
And it
that
made me very upset.
that changed my whole opinion
Yep.
about
Oh,
this
boy.
whole situation.
Well, now I'm not liking any of
And
this.
so I am on board 100%. I didn't get a call when you were looking for hosts, and that's fine. I get it. Scheduling, sure. But
Yeah, my
It all
first
worked
pick
out
for
for the
guest,
best.
Mike Flores, couldn't be here. So thanks for joining us, Alex. Really appreciate it. Charlie Young also had to pass, and Ben and Susan couldn't be here. Luke Starkey's in D.C. Yeah.
well,
Hey, Alex. I'm glad you're here.
thanks, Nate. I'm glad you're here too.
All right. So for those of you that are joining us maybe for the first time, this is a movie podcast where we talk about movie trailers, the last movie we saw, and maybe there's time for a game. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe just shenanigans, pure shenanigans sometimes.
I don't like it when you say that.
Shenanigans?
Yeah.
What about
use
You
shenanigans
use it
quite
a
bit.
lot.
Tomfoolery?
That's better, but like you don't.
Skullduggery? Fucking around?
There you go. There it is. That's what I'm here
Hijinks.
for.
What about hijinks?
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 I
Yeah.
like hijinks.
I support
Hijinks
hijinks.
is
There
good.
we go.
Yeah, Alex should have been a co-host. Brad, who's
That's how
today's
you do it,
sponsor?
Oh, today's sponsor is just ice cold water.
You really didn't bring a sponsor.
It's a hot day out.
You knew for a week we were going to record.
Nah, just kidding. I got it. It's in the bag here, but it's Tennessee Apple Jack Daniels.
It's true. Nothing says Monday night like Tennessee Williams Jack Daniels.
No, not Tennessee William Jack
Oh.
Daniels. That's a country song.
I thought that was what you said.
No, Tennessee Apple Jack
Gotcha.
Daniels. Mix it with ginger ale, mix it with Sprite, mix it with Mountain Dew thrashed apple, and you
Mix
got
it-
yourself a nice little cocktail. Now Ben's not one for mixing. Ben's one for chugging.
Hey, mix it with your evening.
But I got to tell you, probably my favorite Jack Daniels is the Tennessee Apple Jack Daniels.
Right behind the barbecue
I was
sauce.
just say, yeah. What? How would you rank your top 5?
I haven't had Jack Daniels barbecue sauce because I'll bet it's shit.
It's really good, actually.
Just because you like Jack Daniels. Do you even use barbecue sauce or just pour Jack Daniels on your ribs?
That's what I do. Oh, I thought that's what we were talking about.
Oh, it's not barbecue
yeah, No,
sauce.
it's just I pour a bottle of Jack Daniels on ribs from any restaurant.
Yeah.
Yep. I have a problem.
I can already tell this episode is going to be you two because you guys are. As the third wheel to you guys, I can tell when you guys are walking into this episode upset at each other, and this is going to be one of those episodes.
It's hot.
Where you feel it,
It's
don't
hot.
you? They're not happy with
But
each other.
but that's every episode.
and,
Yeah.
and it's going to come out in the podcast, and I'm going to have to deal with it.
We don't really have a lot of
Every
time.
time.
Thankfully, we're doing a shorter episode now,
true.
so we just can't put up with Ben's bullshit.
Yeah. So thanks for bringing the sponsor.
Yeah.
Ice cold water.
Ice cold water and Tennessee
Tennessee
Apple
Williams
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. It goes good on ribs.
It really is delicious. I got to tell you.
Well, thank you, Jack Daniels, for sponsoring the podcast. We sincerely thank you every time we cash your check, which is it's a large check from Jack Daniels.
It is. It's a comically big check.
Yeah, it's like
the amount of money is small,
Yeah.
but the check is
It's
huge.
$5 on a big check that you get like when you win Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah.
This is a good bit. You want to keep doing it?
Let's talk about it.
Hey,
How big
Brad,
is that check?
what's the last
So-
movie you saw?
Have you seen like the tarps?
Hey, Brad.
that they-
What's the last movie you saw? You know, Alex, what's the last movie you saw?
Yesterday, I took my son and my dad and my brother.
I didn't ask who you
and
took.
Tim Gust and his son to Thor: Love and Thunder at the movie theater, which is where
The movies
it
are
was
played.
at now. So
And first impressions, what did you think? We're keeping it spoiler free because it just came out
Yeah,
not
sure.
that long ago.
Actually, you know what? I think we can do spoilers now. It's been out for the weekend. We're talking about spoilers online. If you don't
Agreed.
want spoilers, then you can skip ahead. We're going to talk about spoilers right now. if you
Wow,
want to.
okay.
I don't know how spoilery I'm really going to get. Probably more now that I know that I can.
Nate, you've seen it?
Yes, Brad and I went on a date.
Yeah, we had a best friends day, and we saw Thor:
and
Love and
we
Thunder
saw
together.
it and met your friends over there that really talked a lot of crap about you. Who are they again?
Oh yeah, we ran into Ben Bloom
Yep.
and Susan Swarner.
Yep.
And
Did
some
they
of their
just openly
friends.
talk shit?
And then, because they don't want you on their radio show. They just want me and Nate.
Those are some of my favorite of your friends.
And of course, previous guest, my cousin Cameron was there
Yep,
with his
Cameron.
lovely girlfriend Bethany, and they also just hate you.
And you know
Talk a
who
lot of
else?
shit.
Who else was there? Everyone in Valparaiso was at this movie because it was packed.
Yeah.
It was so.
One of my former students, when I did student teaching, was actually there. And
It was,
he
it was
also had
honestly really odd how many people.
he
Brad
had
knew.
super unkind things to say about you as well. He doesn't even know you.
I
But
was going
he's
to say, I don't
yeah.
even know that kid.
Yeah, he's like, you know that person you always reference on Facebook?
Jasper Truxedarian?
He's like Ben
Is that his name?
Ben Fornovitz or something like that. And I was like, yeah.
Ben
and
Fornovitz.
And he goes, yeah, he's just a fucking Uncle Chester fuck.
Whoa! A fucking Uncle Chester, but that's...
Do you guys see what I'm saying?
It's a
This
lot,
is what
yeah.
I have to deal with every podcast.
Nate's talking to the audience.
Yeah, yeah, wait a minute. That's not how this works.
do you guys
he's
hear me?
breaking the fourth wall. I
Hey,
mean,
do you guys hear what I'm saying? This is every time.
2 episodes in, you're
Send
reaching
help.
out for help.
Send help.
What'd you think?
It was fine. I've had better lasagna. Like
Ugh.
it was a mess. Like it was a big mess for me. It was very pretty. The aesthetic was great. The stuff that was good was good. The acting was really great, almost I think across the board. It felt like a big tonal mess for me. Nothing. I don't know, and I meant to Google it. I wouldn't be surprised if
this is part of a larger franchise.
if Tika Waititi was a child of divorce. That wouldn't have surprised me because nothing serious was allowed to sit. There was a constant effort to break whatever mood was being generated across the board with humor, which is textbook child of divorce. I'm a child of divorce. I'm all about relieving stress by coming in from the side hatch and making a joke. It felt very repetitive. We heard Korg tell us 3 different stories. We did the axe is a jealous girlfriend joke a lot. There were multiple montages, and that's because I get that the movie had to invest us all in a relationship that we never saw. And so I get that that's hard to do. I didn't like Jane Foster and Thor's story. I'm not a big fan of the you need your previous love to release your heart and feel free about the future in love thing. It had been 8 years, which felt a little long and weird for a guy who's 1,500 years old in the first place and was already in love with a human that he knew was only going to live for maybe 100 of his years.
What didn't you like about the film?
No, actually, like the humor when it hit was good. Like I said, the acting was good, but it felt very messy to me.
Rebuttal, Brad?
No, I do agree. I think it shares some of the same problems that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has, is where it's got the director's style for days, but it does feel a little bit messy. This one I think even more so because as we've heard in like the stories since the movie came out, like that they really did a lot of like building the story as they were going along. They even Taika even let some of the actors like improvise story points at some point and like tried to go with the flow and work with it that way, and like it doesn't feel like it went all that well.
Rebuttal, Nate?
I feel like they needed like a proper screenplay, and I agree with like the emotional beats. They felt like they needed to resonate more. I needed some time to breathe, but
Yep.
Taika let the humor overtake it. But like
I love the goats.
yeah, I told Nate this after we saw the movie though. It was weird that Taika didn't allow any of the emotion to settle, because in his previous movies like Boy and Hunt for the Wilder People, he does let
Jojo
emotions,
Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit. He does let emotion settle. He allows for like heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, heartfelt moments to come through without undercutting them with a bunch of jokes. And
Do you think it's because they had to pack a lot in here?
yeah, I mean, I absolutely, like there's tons going on, and I think a lot of things get underserviced because of that. Having said that, though, I still had a really good time watching. I still think it's very funny. It's not as good as Ragnarok, but it's very entertaining. You know, I've seen some people on Twitter, both film Twitter and just random fans being like, "This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen." And it's like, if this is one of the worst movies you've ever seen, watch more movies because you don't know what a bad movie is.
Fart a documentary is.
It was fun. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was
Fart
fun.
the documentary was fun.
Yeah, it felt like Ragnarok did really well. So they told YTT, you can do whatever you would like to in this movie, and we're going to release it for you. And so then he did whatever he wanted to in the movie, and maybe somebody should have been around to say, this is not the best direction right here. Like, overall, you have a really great vision for this, and it really does work in a lot of ways. But in this particular moment,
it needed some focus.
You need direction, and that's not really what you're providing. And based on everything that I saw in Thor: Love and Thunder, more so than any other Marvel movie that I've seen, the villain is right. His justification is correct, and they don't ever really make him wrong. Like,
I think that they make him wrong at the very end, but I don't think that it's earned.
He's wrong because he kidnaps children, but his goal
I
don't think is really wrong.
I don't think his motivations make sense because his god betrayed him.
All the
and
gods.
abandoned. I mean, yeah. And so like that his motivation is justified to a certain point, but I think that what changes is he sees Thor is willing to, despite his status, do something for the person that he loves.
Yeah.
Which is what he was denied originally.
Yeah.
I don't think that the final beats of the movie are necessarily earned because I feel like they really needed to like fill in some stuff with like genuine emotional things. There are some great moments in it, but yeah, it feels like it needed a little bit more of a polish on the script.
It's just
Nate,
messy.
rebuttal?
So I enjoyed the film. I will say that. I will
Finally,
start
somebody
off.
liked it.
I enjoyed the film.
I said I liked it.
No, I
said
did.
it was fun.
I think some of the criticisms are right. Some of the great things. Christian Bale's a great villain.
Oh yeah.
He's really good. I think his story could have been fleshed out a little bit more. I would have liked to have seen a little more dialogue between him and Thor.
Yeah.
A little more, especially to push the dialogue of why he doesn't like Thor or gods kind of things. They don't really know why, right? I mean, they just know he's the god butcher, but
yeah,
they've never met him, right?
Yeah. There's no level of understanding between them until it's the very end.
And Marvel typically does that fairly well, where
Right.
you almost get sympathetic with the villain, right? And so I wish they would have done that a little bit more. I was telling Brad after we saw it, I wonder if there's like 10 to 15 more minutes of film that they, had to edit out.
There's a bunch of stuff that they cut.
That put back together would maybe fill this film a little bit out, a little bit more that I think would be a better film. But all in all, I love Chris Hemsworth. I love Taika Waititi. I think the humor is good. I think the story seems a little jolted at times, but I wasn't sad that I went to the theater to see it.
This is the best acting Chris Hemsworth has done in a Thor film. He's really, really talented. The emotional stuff that he has in the hospital room with Jane, it really made me tear up. Like, he was incredible. And also, this is the best physically he's looked. That scene where he gets his clothes flicked off, I think everybody, male, female, didn't matter. It was like, holy shit, that's
a
perfect,
god.
Yeah, it's a perfect human.
Everyone got hard as a rock, whether it was nipples, wieners.
Brad and I went to the press screening, and everybody stood up and just pulled down their pants.
I'm
It was
sexualized right now. Yeah, no,
it was honestly, he's incredible. That was just bar none. The goats were, of course, very, very funny. No, I really liked it. I thought, of course, it was to me, it was almost like a series of vignettes. Like, every scene, was its own thing, and it was all over the place, and it didn't allow itself enough to get fleshed out. Mm-hmm. But it was really, each one was also really funny.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to enjoy the movie, I'm like enjoying each one, but I wish they tied together better.
I do love that. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Taika said that at the end of it, when they saw it in the theater, right, him and Chris Hemsworth, and they had their screening, the opening, and it says, "Thor will return." He goes, "What?" He literally,
he had no idea they were going to add
nor
that.
did Chris. Didn't know that they were coming back,
okay.
Nor does he necessarily. I don't know if wants to do another one, and so
I'm hopeful that he never stops playing Thor. I love him as Thor.
Yeah,
we have spent way too much time talking about this, but that was a great recap of Thor: Love and Thunder.
We spent more time talking about Adam Sandler last time, so I think
that's also very true.
Okay.
I would say though that I would recommend seeing it in the theater. It is a good theater film.
It is.
All that said, I think we all love Marvel, so I think we hold it to a fairly high standard. I agree. I think the emotions, honestly, let him breathe a little bit more, and it would have been really effective.
Yep.
Really effective. because they were there, like you said, Ben. They were there. Like there were some moments. I told Brad, going into there, as you guys know, I pee a lot. So going to a movie with me, no, I'm gonna pee once or twice.
He opted to pee in his soda cup and did not go to
leave
the
theater.
bathroom.
Yeah, and then
that's
I
really his
also
move.
Yeah.
By the way,
very easily cry in films. I didn't cry in this one. I thought I would. I wanted to.
I teared up
didn't.
once.
And I cry pretty easily. And so I thought there were signs.
How many times do you cry in Endgame?
Oh, multiple.
I think I cried like 7 times.
Oh,
Cried
multiple.
2 times in
multiple.
Endgame.
Brad?
I feel like I was crying endlessly for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I'm pretty easy to make cry. I didn't this because I thought there were moments that could have been there if they would have let it breathe a little more.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So.
Nate, what's the last movie you saw, buddy?
Well, last movie, new movie or just last movie?
last movie you saw.
Okay, last movie I saw was last night. I introduced my boys, 10 and 12, and
Emmanuel in space.
and my daughter, 14, to the movie that is about 10 years old called Inception. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Wait, how old are they?
They're
10, 12,
10,
14.
12, and 14.
Just how did the 10-year-old react? Did he get it?
He got it. He liked it. My 12-year-old though, son Finley, was all into it.
Sure.
Hated the ending. As soon as the ending goes, what? No.
I would like some resolution, Christopher Nolan.
And so we got to. It was fun though because we got to talk a little bit about like the resolution didn't matter, right?
Sure.
It didn't matter, and so and honestly, I forgot how good that film is. I embarrassingly forgot Tom Hardy is in there. I knew that character was in there. I forgot it was Tom Hardy. And so it was a lot of fun watching it again. I really enjoyed it.
We just rewatched that like 4 or 5 months ago, and it's
on
very
Netflix
good.
till the end of the month. So if
Very
you guys want to
good
watch
film.
it again, it's there until the end of the month. I really loved it.
Yeah,
Where does that rank in your Nolan universe, Brad? Is it near the top, or
It's got to be close to the top.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Probably. I think it's probably
you like that better
Probably-
than Interstellar?
probably yeah, definitely. Not that I don't like Interstellar, but
That sounded really pointed, Brad.
no, it's just easy for me to pick out of
Better
those
than
two.
Tenet?
Yeah.
Yes. I think Inception is probably number 2, second only to
Dark
Dark
Knight?
Knight. Yeah,
Yep. Okay.
it's a great film.
I also liked Inception.
Just going
Thanks,
on
Alex.
record.
Appreciate
I'm the
that.
guest.
That's why we have Alex on the show.
Ask me.
Unparalleled film perspectives.
I don't have anything
also-
to say about that
I
one.
also thought it was a fine film.
I liked Memento as well. I really did like Memento. You know what? Can I tell a quick Memento story? I went to the theater to
anyway.
see. This is my show. Went to go see Memento in the theater as a young man. Got there late.
Oh god.
Got there 5 minutes after the beginning of the film. Sat through the entire thing. Didn't, and then finally started to understand what was happening. And then back then you couldn't. You got to wait
Couldn't
obviously
rewind.
for a long for a long time. So it came out on VHS, no DVD back then, and I watched it, and I remember putting it in and be like, "Oh, like, what a dumbass!" Because normally the first 5 minutes wouldn't really matter. Yeah, no, that one it does, kids.
Yeah.
Whoops a doodle.
Yeah, that was pretty.
It's a life hack for you. Don't leave the room.
There. Yeah.
Start a Memento.
So what's the last movie you saw?
I just got done with 95% of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Brad says it's not very good. What do you think?
So if that movie is not up for a visual effects Oscar, then I don't know what's wrong.
Is that the only good thing about it? Was the visual
So
effects?
no, it's
No, not
very
even.
it's solid.
You
It's
son of a bitch.
it's solid, but it's a wild trip, man. It really is. It's breathtakingly shot. Like it's always moving. Like after the first 10 minutes of the film, it just doesn't stop. There's just so much going on. Like I felt like I
Almost
shouldn't
too
even look
much.
down.
Almost too much.
It's like everything is everywhere all at once. Okay. No, but it was very, very solid. I liked it a lot.
It hasn't even finished yet. The movie is more than solid. This is one of the best movies of the year.
and you know how I
it's
know
solid.
that? Because
It's
Brad
solid.
tells me every time I see
It's
him.
listen. It's fine. It's I'm not gonna say it's fine. It's solid. It's pretty
fine.
good.
It's fine. It's
It's
okay.
North
It's okay.
Thor, Lord of Thunder, but it's
It's
all
no
right.
horror, love, and thirder. That's for sure.
Alex is
sipping on
having
some of
a
that-
stroke.
Some of that Tennessee Williams Jack.
Some of that
Apple.
delicious Tennessee Williams Jack Daniels.
Tennessee, Love, and Thunder.
No, you truly
Everything
love this
Everywhere
film,
All
don't
at
you?
Once is currently my favorite movie of the year, and it's going to take a lot to unseat it.
That's okay. Earlier, a few years previous, Brad said that Sausage Party was his favorite movie of the year.
That's not true. I said it was the funniest movie of the year.
Sorry, the funniest movie of the year. Now that movie came out in like January, so he
That's
got
not even
to
true.
say
It
that.
came out in like October.
I think it was.
I was trying to help you out.
It was
there,
a
buddy.
fall movie. No, what do you mean? Why would that help me?
Speaking of,
He stands by.
I stand by it. The movie's hilarious.
It's pretty funny. Was it the funniest
good.
movie that came out that year?
I'd have to go back and find out the year again to be sure, but I'm
Well,
pretty
I'm gonna
sure.
make sure you're dialing next time
That's
because
the
I'm gonna
game,
bring
yeah.
that up. Yeah, bring that up. What were the
Movies
funnier
that were
movies?
better.
Bring up whatever you want to. Opinions are fluid and they always change.
well, speaking of movies that could change your opinion, maybe we should talk about some trailers. That's how you do it, Nate.
First of all, we're not done with the previous section of the podcast,
They
so
yell-
you're a pretty shit
They
host.
yell at me when I do that. I can only do that on an SNL one.
Yeah, no, that's a completely different show. We're not even talking about that, Nate.
See, this is what I
What?
This is what I get.
The last movie I saw, because I wasn't really paying attention to everything Everywhere All at Once because I'd seen it, and I was
Yeah, because you're pretty bored by it.
I was also writing the game for tonight, and then I was writing a story for Slash Film before that. Slash Film
And he was
the
asking
website
me
that
what
I
an
write
outlet
for.
looks like so he could plug in his computer. It was a whole thing.
Ask him.
Live tweeting fart the documentary.
Yep.
It's important. The people need to know about the gas.
Was it like, as far as the documentary, is there chapters, like chapter 4, wet ones?
Okay, let's get this out of the way. So we.
Yeah, nobody knows what.
Yeah, this is like outside baseball. We're like, what are they talking about? Fart the documentary
Inside
for?
baseball, Brad. It's
No,
inside
it's
baseball.
outside baseball.
No, oh,
it's out.
Jesus
It's so
Christ.
far outside of what even baseball is on this podcast.
Oh, good Lord.
So we watched Everything Everywhere All at Once on my Vudu account. So I logged into it on Ben's Apple TV because his Blu-ray player was in the fucking closet or something like that. He doesn't know how to hook anything up in his goddamn house.
Because
so
you don't need physical media anymore, Brad.
physical media is where it's at. I don't know if you saw recently, but some shows and movies lost their license and people didn't have access to them on their streaming library. So get the fuck out of here. So aside from that, we logged into my Vudu, and under continue watching, the first film that was
Fart
most recently watched
the
was
documentary.
Fart, a documentary.
A documentary.
And Ben just lost it like he's 5 years old and discovered farts for the first
No,
time.
because I'm like, I had such a hard day at work, and I'm over here going, this idiot is just, he's watching Fart the documentary and typing about it, getting paid. Like,
Technically, I think it's for a documentary.
It is.
Whatever.
It is called Fart a documentary. I'm assuming that this was watched at my girlfriend's house by her parents who were off work today. At least that's what my girlfriend thought when I texted her and said, who the fuck watched Fart a documentary on my Vudu account? So that's where all the Fart a documentary
was Morgan Freeman
nonsense
the
coming
narrator
from.
of Fart the documentary?
The fart releases out of the buttocks and into the wild.
And here comes the squeaker.
I hope to see my friend fart again.
Oh, boy, that was a fun time at the movies.
I hope the toilet water is as blue as it is in my
Okay,
dreams.
all right, okay.
Anyway, the last movie I saw it's not much better than Fart documentary. It's Final Destination 3.
Oh,
Why did you
Wow.
watch that?
Why would you?
So
do
I
that?
found out recently that my mom, who likes horror movies and suspenseful movies and stuff like that, has not seen any of the Final Destination movies.
You watched the first one and that's it.
Well, no. So I've seen the first two, and I haven't seen 3, 4, or 5. So we watched the first two, and then I was like, "Well, you want to keep going?" She was like, "Yeah, why not?" And so the
There's
third
more to
one,
this premise.
the third one,
We haven't definitely gotten all the blood out of this rock.
the third one was the last one we
Stone?
watched. What's really weird about these movies, and I'm interested to see how it changes with 4 and 5.
Oh, you're gonna watch 4 and
Oh,
5?
absolutely. I'm not putting in the time to not finish the franchise, buddy. And plus, who knows, when they reboot, I'm going to need all this knowledge. But anyway, the first one is like the simplest premise, where like they're supposed to be on a plane when it crashes. They're all supposed to die, but Devon Sawa's character has this premonition, freaks people out. Some of them get taken off the plane. Plane crashes, so they survive. So then Death, trying to stay true to its plan, starts killing them off one by one in very specific, gruesome ways.
And Death is like an anthropomorphized like shadow thing, kind of.
Kind of. It's like a force that like you can hear when the wind blows, and there's
Sure.
like little like
Do they do? And I'm
shimmers
asking a
behind
real
them.
question here because
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in years. Do they do the thing like Evil Dead where Death is the camera coming at you? Ever?
Not really. No.
Or they just show like the
the
electricity through the cord?
Yeah,
you know.
like it'll show the stuff like that is ominously like
Gotcha.
beginning to form what their death will
But
be.
they don't like first.
They don't make
person
Death
ever.
the camera,
Okay,
no.
okay.
So that's the premise for the first one. The second one mixes it up a little bit because it seems like it's going backwards from the order of which people died in the premonition that is at the beginning of this movie, and it's because you find out everybody involved
Spoilers.
in this one was previously supposed to die in a position occupied by someone else from the first movie. And so it's like, oh, okay.
All right, yeah.
Okay, a little
Then
bit.
Sucking our own dick a
By
little
the
bit.
way,
I like
Nate
it.
has checked out completely. He is not
I bet she's looking up spoilers about all the movies, actually.
No, I did, honestly.
See?
Because I was looking up Final Destination 1, Final Destination 2, Final Destination 3, then
The Final Destination.
and then Final Destination 5.
Yeah. So Final Destination 3 is basically Say Cheese and Die with Final Destination. There's a whole photo
Say
element.
cheese and die.
The Goosebumps book with the camera.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Gotcha.
no. What kind of...
Yeah,
Way
you know,
over
that
my
casual
head,
reference
man.
that all people will understand right away.
You knew exactly what I was talking about right away.
I thought it was a TV show episode. But
I honestly had no idea what you're doing.
Anyway,
Sorry.
so Say Cheese and Die, the Goosebumps book where there's a camera, and if you get your picture with the camera, you
yeah,
die.
I get it.
yeah,
Final Destination 3 incorporates some of that a little bit, where like the pictures show a hint of how they're going to die somehow.
It was very bad.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely the worst of the three so far.
Well, so far, it's the worst so far.
But it has
funnily enough,
it has Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
it does, and I had no idea. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, nice. At least I'm
Which
gonna.
one is she?
She's the one from Scott Pilgrim.
Yep.
Ramona Foster.
Oh yeah, you love her.
I do love her.
she is great.
She is wonderful. But yeah, so I'm on Final Destination 3. I will finish the other two when my mom gets back from her trip.
I'm gonna watch the Final Destination conclusion when Mom gets back from her trip.
Although unfortunately, one of them won't be quite so good because one of them, like the gimmick was like it's in 3D, and we don't have no 3D anymore.
We don't have no 3D. All right, well let's get into trailer time, buddy. What do you want to start with?
So the first trailer we'll talk about is
Ready or Not.
See How They Run.
Yep, that's the one I meant.
Ready or Not's a great film.
Ready or Not is a very good movie. Very suspenseful,
Yeah, I really like
fun.
We're not talking about that,
murder.
you guys.
I just want to say, you brought it up.
Yeah.
I just said,
You're the one who said the title. Don't bring up things you don't want to talk about.
Exactly.
Alex, you want to start a new podcast, buddy? Just me and you.
Yeah,
Just the Ben Alex show.
that sounds great.
The Alex and
So-
Ben
Yeah.
experience.
Only Murders in the Building, the film.
Not really.
Oh, come on.
No, this is more like
This is more like
it's like
Death on the Nile, but worse.
It feels like a like Death in the Nile by way of Wes Anderson.
I think that's exactly what
Agatha Misty.
That was my interesting commentary
What'd you
for
say?
the trailer.
Yeah.
I
was-
said Agatha Misty.
Oh, because it is an Agatha Christie film
Kinda
story.
Kind of like that.
Kind
So-
of. I mean, it's a murder mystery.
Yes.
But it's based off an Agatha Christie play.
Is it actually?
Yes.
I didn't. I actually didn't know that.
I did my research.
Very good.
Good job.
Yeah, it felt very much like an Agatha.
It is.
Uh,
Yeah, it's based off.
Seems
a play.
funnier though. Seems like it has like a dry wit throughout
Yep.
it.
Yep. I don't know. If
Not
Agatha
that there
Christie-
isn't like.
I don't know if she was funny ever, but
It's
I mean,
a play.
there's some very dry humor from Hercule Poirot in Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express, but like this feels like it's like specifically like actively funnier.
yeah, and they changed the name of this. I'm sure they're only using it for like loose source material.
So what's
Yep.
the title actually?
I forget. It's a play.
I thought you did your research.
Ready or
I
not?
did, but I forget.
Here I come.
But anyway, this I do love the cast of this one. This one looks fun.
Yeah, I mean, just Sam Rockwell and Saoirse
Yep.
Ronan alone,
Yep.
and especially that opening scene with them, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm totally in for this. And especially, I like murder mysteries in general.
And it is that I looked a little bit into the Agatha Christie. Obviously, it's going to be one of those things where at the end you're going to go, oh, I didn't see that one coming. You
Sure.
know? So it should be a lot of fun with that cast with the storyline.
No, I love
and,
a good murder mystery.
and it's got a good.
Oh really? You weren't bitching while you were watching the
You
trailer?
really were. You really were. You didn't even finish watching the
You
trailer.
tried to not finish it.
Yeah.
I also I like.
You're not gonna get out of this.
It was
now.
for funsies.
There's 3 people now.
It has a good.
what the fuck,
You
guys?
brought him
I'm
on.
right
I don't know what
here.
to tell you.
It's
Yeah,
no longer,
you know what? Alex-
it's no longer 66%.
Alex is the fourth co-host now.
75.
Do you think he was going to team up with you against Brad? That's
I
not
just
how this
invited
was
you to
gonna
start a
work.
whole nother show, and you were on my side, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, motherfucker, you didn't even finish the trailer.
Well,
I did, though.
A good host keeps you, or a co-host keeps you honest, and you know, you didn't seem
I'm
enthusiastic.
starting my own show.
Alex, what did you think about it, man?
It's
Yeah.
called Why Your Podcast Sucks.
Mhm.
I agree with Brad. I got a very Wes Anderson-y vibe out of it, just basically, I think, because the dialogue is written in that kind of stilted fashion. I like murder mysteries as well. I usually like period pieces. I love Sam Rockwell. I don't know who that blonde woman is.
She's from
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan. She was in.
She's Irish.
I knew that about her because I heard her voice.
She was in the Lovely Bones and Brooklyn and.
What's the one with it?
Okay, Dad. The one with the lady that was in the thing.
You know, she's got a loaf of bread and she's got the hat and she's like, "Hey, yo, I'm in love with you."
Julia. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. The one. You know, she's a
Ricky
leprechaun.
Ricardo was
She's
in
a
it.
leprechaun. That's what he said.
The one where she's a leprechaun.
Good.
There you go. welcome.
Great.
But
that's who. If that helped, did that help, Alex?
But it looked enjoyable. I'm certain I won't see it in theaters, but as soon as it's available,
Little
for
Women.
me to
That's
watch,
the word I was
Yes,
looking for.
the new Little Women.
There you go.
Yes, correct.
No, I'll see anything with Sam Rockwell,
Yeah,
honestly, and
right.
and I do like a good murder mystery. It was a little like I'm like, okay. The first half of the trailer, I'm like, okay, I get it. Is this what this is?
Do you think they'll work in a scene where Sam Rockwell gets to dance?
Probably.
I sure hope so.
It's a very common thing. Sam Rockwell pretty much dances in almost all of his movies. Nate, did you know this? Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
This is good.
You
good
Jay
content
Leno?
for me.
This is a very important piece of trivia.
Yep.
People keep
I
track of
already
this.
wrote it down.
You didn't write anything.
I can see him. He's spaced out again.
He's got a
when you were
computer
talking.
and he's
I do like to notice that like every time Brad starts talking, you start just staring right at your computer and like doing research. So
I figured.
I love it. Like, you just don't
He's
respect
looking
him
up.
at all.
He's looking up information to add to my insights because we're a good
accent.
team.
I say accent.
Yeah, Nate and I are good friends.
Not liking the dynamic. Second episode. Be honest with you guys, not loving it.
Nate is the MSG that makes your guys' whole flavor pop. I'm
not-
not. You know, it's really working.
Yeah, I'm lo mein. He's MSG, and you're fucking vegetables.
That could be the name of your podcast, which could be about weight loss. Fucking vegetables
fucking
with
vegetables.
Ben Conowitz.
I'm fucking
I'm
vegetables.
fucking vegetables.
I would listen to that.
Oh Jesus.
So
Oh Jesus.
Just a new vegetable every episode
That's
that he
right.
complains about.
This time eggplant fucking sucks.
Speaking of Saoirse Ronan, I just saw a clip of her on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I don't think it was a new clip, but he has her pronounce Irish names.
Yes, I have seen that clip.
Some of these fucking names
Yeah.
are bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at the word and what she says, I'm like, how?
Yep.
That's not how letters work.
Yeah, it's like it says Smith on the screen, and she's like, "Schwarzfahrer." What? Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Shibloschen. Klnak.
Oh, what's the other trailer?
So see how they run. That it comes out.
Yeah, when does that come out?
Oh, that's in the theater. It's gonna be released or
Yeah,
is it
it's like-
streaming?
So it's a Fox Searchlight movie, so I think it'll end up streaming like sooner than later as far as like the theatrical release is concerned. But it comes out in the U.S. on September 30th. It gets a limited release,
So,
so
answer
it'll
me this: would you see it in the theater? You think?
Let me just kind of tangent slightly here. It is so much harder to answer that question these days, just because I'm still kind of in pandemic mode. Like I'm not.
Stop.
I'm not. But like I still feel like, is it worth going to?
Okay, yeah, fine.
So,
In pandemic mode, would you go
here's
see it?
here's why.
Because you know, what? In
I started
pandemic, I've seen like 3 or 4 films with you.
We've started renting private theaters,
Yeah.
and our friends think.
Are you going to rent a private?
No.
Why?
So, but that's been the thing. $150, 10 friends, $15 a ticket, and then you don't have anybody, no crying babies. You don't have people talking unless you want to talk, like with your friends. Like that's a great experience.
You don't
I'm
have
so
to
used
sit
to that
so
now.
uncomfortable.
I'm like,
close to
I'm
Brad
not-
and the person next to me.
I'm not gonna sit.
that I had to make friends
I
with.
am not gonna sit there and like 2 rows down, 2 people are talking, and I'm just concentrating on their fucking dumbasses instead of watching the fucking show. Then I gotta walk over and I gotta talk to the goddamn manager like, hey, I don't want to be that guy, but these fucking assholes in there. And then I miss like 5 minutes of the feed because they gotta go get their manager, and then they gotta come in, and I gotta point them out, but I gotta stand in the back and do it. It's stupid.
you should not see this movie in theater.
Nate is very friendly with everybody around him. He specifically made commentary to the guy next to him
During the film?
No, during the trailers. He goes,
Oh.
it was the bullet train. He was like, this looks pretty good, huh?
What did the guy say?
He agreed. It does look really good. I'm like, you can see that one.
And they were also joking about sharing popcorn with each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy.
Well, I like people, but so would you see this one in the theater?
Yeah, I'll probably see it in the theater. I will be honest and say that this year I have dragged my feet as far as going to the movie theater, and I think part of it is leftover, not laziness, but just a lack of desire to leave my house because of COVID, because
No,
of
we call that
quarantine.
depression.
Yes, we do.
We've been meaning to talk to you, actually.
I've just gotten so used to wanting to stay at home and watch stuff that I know is available on streaming and stuff like that I haven't necessarily gone out of my way to see things as soon as I used to. I used to rush out and see stuff opening weekend, like the Thursday before opening weekend, see stuff right away. But unless I really have a big desire to see it immediately, I've been holding off a little
So, hey,
bit.
Nate, let's bring the podcast back, and it'll get Brad out of the house once a week. It's I've been talking to his mom and his sister
What's
and his
that, guys?
girlfriend.
What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing. Just hey, honestly, happy for you to be here.
Happy birthday.
Alex, I assume
birthday.
you're not going to see this in the theater, are you?
No, no.
Alex,
not because I don't think it's worthy of seeing.
Alex,
things in
how
the
old are your
theater.
kids?
They're 10, 8, and 4.
Yeah, so perfect for this movie.
And I
They're gonna love this.
really don't ever go to the movies unless I can take my kids.
Yeah.
Not that I used to before the children. I love
I was
movies.
gonna say I actually don't even go to the movies ever, but now
no,
that I've got an excuse,
But I will
still
make
do.
a point to watch it as soon as I easily can.
Yep. Yep.
I would probably happily pay $6.99 or something on Vudu or as soon as it was out just to be able to watch it. It looks like something I would enjoy.
No, this is one of those that Bailey and I will absolutely set aside like a Thursday night,
Right.
and have date night and then come home and watch it. Yeah.
All right, Brady, what's the next one, bud?
Let's talk about the first trailer for Clerks 3, Kevin Smith's latest movie, the latest round with the Quick Stop and Jay and Silent Bob.
Just talk about a well that just never runs dry, you know?
Guys, what is your relationship with Kevin Smith as a filmmaker? Nate, let's start with you. You don't sound too enthused.
Let's start with the guy, the heavy sigh right off the bat.
This is going to be a good one.
I will say this. So I saw Clerks when I was a teenager because my brother, who's 5 years older and a Gen Xer, like I'm right on the cusp of a millennial and Gen Xer, right? But
He's also a bodybuilder.
in many
he really?
ways. No, this is my oldest brother. You don't know him.
Sorry.
My
don't
oldest
know
brother.
Wait, Nate has a bodybuilder brother?
Yes.
He's pretty big, but
Wow.
Brandon he's like Thor. He's
Brandon
like,
Loucks does sound like a bodybuilder now.
he's like
Now coming to the stage, Brandon Loucks lifting
he's got, like,
5,000
arms
pounds
like
with his
Ben.
dick.
dude. Brandon is cut like Thor. Like he's
Really?
I'm not joking. He's very in shape.
Does he want to kiss?
I would.
he's
I
a
tried.
lot like me.
what was that voice? Is that what you
That's
need?
Nate's. That's Nate's sexy voice.
Wait a minute.
How you
I'm
doing?
really
Is that what you
liking-
think you need
You
to
sound
do?
drunk.
You're a lot like me.
How many children do you have?
Just come
You sound
on
like
over.
Sling Blade.
What's going on over there?
Whatever the opposite of French fried potatoes are.
I like the way you talk.
So,
Sorry.
Clerks 3 and
Anyway,
Kevin
Clerks
Smith.
3.
so I saw Clerks when I was a teenager. I saw Clerks 2. I thought it was okay, and I realized that I don't think this is for me. Like, I think it's okay.
Are those the only Kevin Smith movies you've seen?
Smith, yeah. What
No,
about
I
Kevin
saw
Smith overall?
Mallrats too. I saw Mallrats 1. Sorry, I saw Mallrats as well.
Okay.
And I think they're okay, but I don't think they're like the best films in cinema. Like, I feel like
I'm not sure anyone thinks they're the best films
I
in
don't
cinema.
know. I think people are like, "Oh, you gotta watch this, man. This is the best thing in the world."
I
And,
think
like,
that-
I just don't. I think it's okay. Like, I think it's okay.
I think Kevin Smith, when he made Clerks and it became this, this indie darling,
like a
right.
Gen X,
It
very
really-
specific Gen X,
and it really
movie there.
propelled him.
I'll rebuttal that in a second, but I want to hear what Ben
Okay.
says first.
It really propelled him to the next level, as a filmmaker. I mean, like that, right? And then he makes Mallrats, and he makes Chasing Amy, and he makes Dogma. As a kid, I loved Mallrats. I thought it was absolutely hysterical, insanely quotable, so funny. Watching it again as an adult, yeah, it's pretty paper thin, and there's a lot of problems with it, and it's not necessarily great. But I just remember, much like Ace Ventura, I just loved it when I was a kid. His strength as a filmmaker is being able to get these amazing this entire crew of actors that really like each other and like to play in the same universe, and I think that's by far his strength, is having the Kevin Smith, what is it, what does he even call
The
it,
View Askew
the View Askew universe. I like that aspect of his filmmaking, but he has really gone off the deep end with a lot of his stuff.
Back to the trailer, though. I actually was really interested in this.
I was
actually,
too.
This actually looked like something I would want to see. Yep.
So, as a longtime Kevin Smith fan, this feels like back to the basics of like what the Kevin Smith that I used to love. Kevin Smith was, for me, a very like formative filmmaker in my teenage years. He was one of the first filmmakers where I watched his stuff and I was like, holy shit, this guy is writing stuff is like, this is the stuff that like I like to talk about. These are the jokes that I like. Like he would write these great nerdy eloquent diatribes from these characters who were very representative of the things that I liked. And so like hearing these characters talk smartly but also like raunchy about Star Wars and like pop culture and stuff like that, and
get into really heated arguments with one another about the stuff that we would get into heated arguments about, right?
And so I was like it was the first time where I felt like, wow, like someone can make movies like this. Like I would love to do something like this. And so like I loved Mallrats was the first one I saw. Then I saw Clerks. I loved Chasing Amy. I loved Dogma. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was so fun to me. It's such a silly comedy that like brings everything together. And like people forget that Kevin Smith was like one of the first people to do this like series of movies where completely different stories, but they were connected in weird ways.
In the same universe, yeah.
The multiverse. Yeah.
Having said that, and I really like Clerks 2 as well. Like all these respective movies have stuff that hasn't aged particularly well simply because they were made in a different time, and like certain like languages and jokes were a little bit different. We all understand how this works. But more recently, Kevin Smith's work has been fairly disappointing to me, especially when it comes to his comedies. I liked Red State for what it was. It was an interesting experiment and new chapter for him. Tusk is weird. Yoga Hosers is trash. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was interesting because it felt like he was really trying to tap back into the market, but it felt forced. Yeah, it felt like someone trying to make a Kevin Smith movie with Kevin Smith toys.
Didn't he really start to get really into weed?
Yeah, so a lot of people attribute this like change and like this falling away from what he used to be because he got into weed, and it's mostly a lot of people blame Seth Rogen because Kevin Smith started smoking weed around the time Zack and Miri Make a Porno was coming together. A movie which I think is okay, actually.
I like that movie.
But yeah, it seems like ever since he really started smoking weed, he hasn't had like the same edge and like appeal that he used to. And some of it I think is just people growing up too.
Sure.
But I do like this trailer. I think it really it captures the spirit of the previous Clerks movies. It feels like it has his writing style and like his voice in it properly. And I hope it's not just a well-cut trailer. I hope that there's a good movie here. I'm a sucker for this kind of meta narrative angle because this movie is about Dante and Randall. Obviously, Randall has a heart attack, as Kevin Smith did.
That's what I thought too.
And has this kind of moment where like he wants to do something with his life, and he decides to make a movie about him and Dante's life, which is exactly what Kevin Smith did when he made Clerks. He was a clerk at Quick Stop while he was doing that, and so it's this meta story within a real life story kind of thing, and I think that there's going to be some nostalgia that will like pull at my heartstrings and stuff like that. So I hope it's good. I really do.
Yeah, I loved seeing Ben Affleck, Sarah Michelle Gellar. I loved seeing the people in there.
I'm sure there'll be a bunch more.
George Carlin.
I will say this: it looked a lot of fun. I wanted to see it just because, if nothing else, it looked fun.
Alex, how do you feel about Kevin Smith?
What's your favorite Kevin Smith film, if you have a favorite?
My
Yoga Hosers.
Yeah, no, my favorite Kevin Smith film is probably Dogma.
Cop Out.
The Kevin Smith film that I've watched the most is most assuredly Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. There's no doubt that just based on what 16 to 22 was like for my life, that just on the force of it, I had to have watched that movie the most.
Big Jason Biggs fan.
This trailer is maybe one of the first times in my whole life that a trailer has actively changed my opinion about a movie. Because like you sent me, watch the Clerks III trailer before you come today.
And you were like...
And I was like, really? That's the trailer you want me to watch? It's like, okay. And like you started watching it and it started up. I'm like, I don't need this, Kevin Smith. I got really stoned and watched the Jay and Silent Bob remake, and we were on a good terms, all right? Like, I didn't approach that with a level of seriousness, and please just don't. Just, you were... But halfway through the trailer... I was like, oh my God, I love Kevin Smith, and I love this universe. Nobody does meta better than Kevin Smith for me. Like this is a guy who was meta long before anyone was really able to use that term. Like we just casually throw it around. I'm excited. The ass to mouth bit from Clerks 2 is seminally hilarious to me. I will always remember that bit as just in the theater, just dying because this like what you said. Here's our people who are as raunchy as I am, who also have almost the exact same opinions about nerd shit that I have, and it feels a little bit cooler because of that Gen X thing. I'm a little bit younger than you guys, so Gen Xers always felt a little bit cooler than me. So like Mallrats wasn't just so much like this is kind of an interesting comedy. It's like, this is what cool kids do. They're sarcastic and they hang out in places. And so I also, much like Brad, had a big boner in my youth for Kevin Smith and still do. And this trailer kind of turned my opinion around on the idea of Clerks III, which I had heard about and was also very much like please don't do this. You don't have to.
And I will say too, I think part of the thing that I didn't get with Kevin Smith is that I wasn't into like nerd culture growing up. Like I didn't see Star Wars until I was an adult.
No shit.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
old were you?
Probably 25.
Like last week.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't watch any of that stuff. I only watched like Michael Jordan stuff, right? I mean, I was just into sports stuff.
So you saw Space Jam
Multiple times.
and Michael Jordan to the max.
Yep. Oh yeah. Any sports movie from the 90s,
Nike commercials.
I've seen many times.
McDonald's commercials.
Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes. That's a good
My Giant with Billy Crystal.
Saw it.
Blue Chips.
Is that with George
episodes in a row.
George Marichon.
Wait,
Yeah.
I think from now on,
From the Washington Bullets.
every
777.
episode,
Also Romanian.
every
by the way.
episode we have to run through basketball titles.
You need
We've done this before, yeah.
You at least need to reference Eddie and Blue Chips.
Yeah.
And now I'll
Twice.
do the air up there.
I love
and
it.
My Giant. How about Forget Paris?
Never seen
Billy
it.
Crystal.
That's exactly what we did.
Done a
Teen
great
Wolf.
job, guys.
So I didn't get a lot
Air
of
Bud?
I didn't get a lot of Kevin Smith jokes, honestly. I just didn't get it. Like I didn't get it. But like you guys have said, like this is like the conversations you guys had, right? And so
Brad, did you mention The Sixth Man last time?
I did. As well as Slam Dunk Ernest.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
not- I'm
that's
really-
quality.
You've never seen Slam Dunk Ernest?
No.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in it.
And you call yourself a
The
sports
Kareem
fan.
Abdul-Jabbar.
A different one.
So I think I would have liked it better if I would have probably understood the culture in which
That's
the film
really
was
interesting to me that you didn't see Star Wars until you were 25. 'cause
No,
you seem
so-
like just a real fucking nerd.
born. I know. So I just like faked it. I'm like, oh yeah.
I love lightsabers.
Lifesavers.
So when you watch Star Wars for the first time, did you start with the original trilogy?
Yeah, so let me say this: my sons are nerds, like
they are.
out of nerds. They love Star Wars. They love Marvel stuff, and so I've had to get into it like as a dad, and now I'm more into it than they are. I just wasn't. I wasn't into it before.
So when you watched, did you start with the original trilogy, or did you watch the prequels first, or
No, I started with the prequels,
did you really?
the Jar Jar Binks stuff. Yeah,
Those are the first Star Wars movies
yeah.
you
Those
saw.
are the first in the theater.
Now, had you up until that point,
Because
like,
I was told you don't have to see the original to see those in the theater.
someone told you the wrong
Yeah.
thing.
No, I was too busy getting laid, so I didn't.
So when you
How'd that work out for you?
Pretty bad, actually.
You're still in the basement talking about this shit now,
Peaked
aren't
in
you?
high school. That was pretty fun back then. Oh, 2000, Ben. Where did you
so
go?
anyway, I've obviously seen them all now multiple
Yeah.
times, but I don't have the nostalgia that many people do watching it as teenagers or even younger.
So were you
Right.
aware of like the pop culture touchstones that came from Star Wars then? Like at that point when you started
I
watching
mean,
them? or-
obviously, it's a part of the cultural lexicon. A lot of
Yeah.
these stuff. A lot of the stuff,
like
is.
Luke, I am your father, and all that shit.
Exactly, all that kind of stuff. But you know who Leia is. You know, kind of some of the things that happen there. You know the story broadly.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the jokes. I didn't get comic books. I didn't get any of that stuff. I didn't get people actually like on a Friday night debating the finer details of Star Wars or Marvel stuff or
Yeah.
comic book stuff or anything like that. But my brother did. He got it because he did that. And so my oldest brother.
It's the sexy beefcake that
Ben's in love with.
No, that's a different.
That's
okay.
the other one. So,
It's
but anyway,
first guest on fucking
so
vegetables.
I feel like I understand this now, so I'm gonna get this better when I watch Clerks now because I understand the culture a
Yeah.
little bit better.
I think it's worth revisiting the Clerks movies. And have you seen all Kevin Smith movies? Have you seen Chasing Amy or Dogma?
Oh, you gotta
So
watch
you should
Dogma.
especially watch Dogma.
Yeah, you have to.
because of your status as
Oh, yeah.
as a pastor.
I prefer the Right Reverend, but yeah.
The Right Reverend Nate Loucks.
I mean, just with Brad alone,
or
how many times did
Brad's
we watch
Rabbi.
Dogma at Joe Mazur's house?
Oh, yeah,
on his
seriously.
television. Like weekends, every weekend, Zoolander.
If I remember right, Dogma
Dogma
came out when we were in college, roughly, maybe in 2000.
yeah, that would be right
Yeah.
because we were in high school.
1998, I believe.
So I was almost in high school.
Yeah, I think I just missed it. I
Yeah,
missed it.
and that was like at a prime too when I was feeling really like sticking it to the church and
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah,
It's
this is the
making me-
shit I love.
That man, that fueled
Hey, Dad, I got a film for you.
There's so many
My parents
adolescent.
weren't super religious at that point.
Adolescent rage was fueled by that
Oh,
movie.
so many
yeah.
militant atheists
So-
I hung out with at that time in my
Oh,
life,
yeah.
and
So
we
fun
were
story.
all so full of ourselves.
And
So-
then you watched I Could Only Imagine, and it came back to you, right?
What?
No,
The I Can Only Imagine.
God's
film.
dead is really what brought me. Is really what brought me back to the fold. I was
Mine was Heaven is for real.
I was totally against it, and then God is dead, and I was like, you know what? That's a great point, Kirk
I saw
Cameron.
Kirk
You
Cameron
saw-
Left
Yeah, you
Behind.
You saw
yeah.
the atheist professor. It's like, well, then obviously.
That's me.
Obviously.
So freshman year high school, I had a biology class with a teacher, Mrs. Young. And she was like the favorite teacher because she didn't give two shits about her fucking job. She just she gave out worksheets and she was like, "Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit."
She gave me.
I'm gonna smoke cigarettes.
She gave me an A+ because I ate a single mealworm in front of the class. She said no one in here would eat a mealworm, and I said I will eat a mealworm if you give me an A+ in your class. And she said bullshit, and I said nope. And then I ate that mealworm.
I imagine her being like, bullshit.
No, she was young and pretty. She was definitely that teacher where like
she was a
there
teacher
were
that
rumors,
all
there was
the
always
teenage boys were like, "Oh, okay."
If I was only a little bit taller, this mustache was thicker, I'd be.
If I figured out how to use this thing yet, I would be all over that.
Yeah, no, we hooked up.
He's probably telling the truth, to be honest.
He was cool for a little bit.
When he was playing basketball, he was just crushing all sorts of things.
Oh,
I constantly tell
my
other
father's
people,
expectations,
Yeah.
my place in my family,
His car.
my car, a learning disability. I was crushing it. Anyway, let's move on to the next trailer.
There isn't another one.
Okay,
It's just you, Ben.
It's games time, guys. It's 51 minutes. Time to go games.
She would let us watch movies in her class. And first, I tested the waters with Mallrats.
Right.
Got that through. And
Doesn't
then,
care, yeah.
And then we had a super religious girl in our class. And I will say that like I went out of my way to make sure that we watched Dogma in that class.
Oh,
and
no.
damn it, if she didn't get pissed off and leave the classroom.
Oh, wow.
I'm proud of
Worth
you.
it.
You could have got Miss Young fired. If
Not
it was-
my job.
I don't.
Jesus. And you're over here like one of my favorite teachers.
Oh,
Great
no.
lady.
I didn't say she was one of my favorite teachers. What I said was she
She
didn't
just
give
gave
a
a
fuck
shit.
about her
Okay,
job.
that's fair.
It's one of his favorite classes.
Fair
That
enough.
is a totally different
Yeah,
thing.
fair enough.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
All right, Brad, it is time to play a game, buddy.
I didn't write any games.
What? You
I
said
thought
you were
that's
gonna
what you
write
were
a
doing
game.
during a documentary.
All I was doing was looking at pornographic Reddit threads.
Is that what? Oh,
Reddit
Yeah.
is bad for that.
That's why I put the Dairy Queen cup over my penis area.
what? My penis area?
It doesn't provide any privacy.
It did for me.
Well,
Not impressive.
it's a
No,
blizzard.
you're right. It was
Yeah.
not.
It's
That's
about-
why, is that why you ordered the small?
I got small blizzard.
It's a blizzard down there.
Yeah.
Hey, excuse me, but I didn't order this blizzard with nuts.
Yep.
That's
happened.
getting cut out.
Fuck you.
Just a brilliant addition.
Ben's
to the
Rodney
podcast,
Dangerfield is always a home run.
No respect.
No respect at all.
Nobody
I
respects
don't
me on
get
this,
any-
my
these-
podcast.
These people don't respect me, right? They were classic. Hey, these people don't respect me.
Take my gutter business, please.
You should keep the Bob's Burgers T-shirt, but you should put on a necktie. So just in the future, you
just
can adjust it
my-
when you're singing
Hey,
that punchline.
me and the guys.
That way you got also easy access for the rafters.
Yep. Oh. Can we play a game?
Sure.
What'd you bring for us, buddy?
Well, I gotta do the traditional.
Oh yeah,
game
the
theme
Irish
song.
jig that is our theme song.
What have we?
I'm ready to come in with you.
What,
Yeah.
what have we talked about recently? We talked about Thor guns. We
Yeah.
can't do the one Guns N' Roses song.
You already did that.
We did. Which one was it? Was it
You did Welcome to
Welcome
the
to the
Games,
Jungle?
didn't you? Yeah, you did
Welcome to the yeah.
Games.
So
I've done Welcome to the Jungle before. Yeah.
no, I know that's the one I was. So we can't do that. November Rain's not a fun one.
Do
So
Civil
sweet
War.
November
movie
Rain's
games.
November Rain's a great
Do-
song.
do
I don't know what
Civil
you're
War.
talking about.
Take me down to the Go Flix Yourself podcast where we got some games and we're gonna talk about movies. Oh, won't you please play some games?
Oh, yeah.
This is no. Okay, you can't do this. You cannot do this.
If
because-
you were good at this, then he could join in with
No.
you. But instead, you just went there and said, "Happy birthday
All-
to games."
all this is-
Happy birthday to games.
all this is you flailing and him coming in and saving it, making you look good. That's all that he was gonna crash and fucking. He had no second verse.
Alex
There
started
was-
singing along too.
I know.
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
the problem. You were
Because
gonna,
it was good.
Have you ever heard?
I'm getting lightheaded.
Take me down to Paradise
I am
City?
getting
You
lightheaded.
can't not do the last part.
There would have been.
Oh yeah.
It would have
Like,
been.
You have to do
You
that
would have
part.
crashed and burned, but he fucking saved you. That's not fair.
Just a brilliant addition, Nate. Every negative thing I said about you being added to this podcast, I take back.
I just
It's
pulled
been
something. I
fantastic.
don't even know what it is, but something's sore.
It's a hernia.
It's a funny bone.
Oh,
Oh.
fuck you.
a humorous.
All right,
moment.
what's your stupid fucking trash game?
All right, so this one's based on Thor: Love and Thunder.
Saw that.
This is Calm Before the Storm.
Breaker.
I'm going to read
Did you?
a series of movie quotes, and maybe they take place before some kind of storm in a movie, and you have to figure out what the movie is.
All right.
So you're gonna read a quote from a movie.
I'm going to read several quotes from a movie. You can guess after each quote.
Okay.
I have 5 quotes
okay.
for
From
each.
from
Are
the
they-
same movie.
Yeah.
Are they all from Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yep, he got it. That's it. Games
We've
is over.
done it again.
Thank
Wrapping
you,
it up.
Storm.
All right.
Nate Loucks ruining the game section.
Well, Alex, thanks for being here.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a
I
great
appreciate
night.
it.
Okay. All right, this first
You get one guess per quote.
One guess per quote.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
All right. You'd have to keep a thing like this under wraps. I mean, just think about it, okay? First, the stock market would go. Then the economy, boom. The dollar, boom.
Ding.
And then pandemonium in the streets.
Do I have to
War,
ding?
genocide,
You
bye, 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 boom, boom, boom.
Just scream.
It's Geostorm.
It's not Geostorm.
Oh.
Your confidence there.
Well,
can I
did you hear-
interrupt? Hey, after 3 lights, can I? Hey, whoa, hey, whoa!
Did
I know
you
what
hear
this
what
is.
was happening?
Do you raise your hand or do you whatever?
The stakes were high, and that's what a Geostorm is.
It was
It's the
like-
highest stakes.
3 words in, you're like, I got this.
It's like,
Come on, it's got to be Geostorm.
Does anybody want to even fucking
Have
play?
you not seen it?
Alex looked at us like, why the fuck aren't your hands
Guys,
up?
come on. Don't you know Geostorm?
you
Clearly
know, I have
you
no
do.
guess.
I don't even know what. I
have
don't
no
remember.
guess.
All right, second quote. Kind of galling when you realize that nutbags with cardboard signs had it right the whole time.
This is fucking Geostorm.
2012.
That's correct, Ben. It's 2012.
Do you really remember that line?
He's just putting 2 and 2 together.
Oh yeah.
It's a poor man's Geostorm.
The rest of the quotes, folks, did you hear that? The authorities in L.A. say there's nothing to worry about. I'd love to see their dumb faces when Malibu and Beverly Hills get sucked into the gurgling maw of the Pacific. Where are they going to plug in their electric cars then, huh?
Wow, who wrote this movie?
Holy shit.
Written by James Woods.
I'm not going to read the rest of the quotes.
Written by Roland Emmerich.
Yeah.
He did
Oh,
write
there
it
you go.
and directed it. Wow, good for him. Double
he did.
feature, double threat.
Old Independence Day and Moonfall, Roland Emmerich.
Moonfall. Oh, it could have been Moonfall.
Could have been Moonfall.
That's the next one.
That's a storm from the moon, right?
Yeah.
Moonstorm?
Yeah, Moonstorm.
I like Moon Summer better.
Hey, is all this turbulence from Santa Claus and those 8 tiny reindeer?
I don't know.
All right. I'm always going to keep this watch on Memphis time. Kelly time.
Kelly time?
Can you deliver it like the actor would?
I actually am.
better?
Without race.
I actually am.
Is it Die Hard 2 Die Harder?
It's not Die Hard 2 Die Harder. keep in mind that the category of the game is Calm Before the Storm, dialogue that is said before some kind of storm.
Twister.
There's
In
a
the movie.
huge blizzard in Die Hard 2
It's
Die
not
Harder.
Twister.
Huge blizzard.
Third one, go.
It's just snowing. It's not a blizzard.
No,
They're
I
trapped
need
on the
more.
ground
I need
because
more.
of the
Come on.
blizzard.
87 hours is an eternity. The cosmos was created in less time. Wars have been fought, and nations toppled in 87 hours. Fortunes made and squandered.
Avalanche.
It's not a movie.
Nate's over here just guessing words.
I really
The funny thing is, there probably is a movie called Avalanche,
I
but
know
it's
it
not one this podcast would ever recognize.
You know what? I'm gonna do Going Overboard.
No.
The Adam Sandler. No? Is that not?
It's a deep
No?
cut. I forgot about the storm in that movie.
It's the premise.
We live and we die by time, and we must not commit the sin of turning our back on time.
Time agent.
Are you really just making it worse?
Nate is picking out like the generic movies that get made based on blockbusters.
Transmorphers.
Yeah.
Because that's what these lines sound like they're from.
Time Agent.
I'm gonna say that this one is.
Star Trek Generations.
This one is Armageddon.
No.
No.
Nikolai, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Man, that sounded like Nicolas Cage.
I know.
Is he a storm movie? Wait a minute. What, in Knowing? That's a movie about time.
That's
Is there
yeah.
a storm in that? A time storm?
Nikolai.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Is that the last quote?
Yeah. I figured you guys would have gotten it by now. These are like some of the famous lines.
No, they're not that famous.
Well, I think let me say there's more famous lines in this movie, but like these were all
What is
part of
the
like a
mo-
very
what-
famous
what is the most
monologue.
famous line in this movie?
If I don't want to say the most famous line. In this movie.
What's another line?
How will I get it then?
Another famous line. Yes, look at what I have created.
Oh,
I have made fire.
Avengers.
Castaway.
It's Castaway.
Oh.
Castaway.
What's the most famous line from the movie?
Tick tock, tick tock.
Wilson.
Exactly.
Tick tock,
Yes,
tick
see.
tock.
It's when there's
if you would have said
there's
Wilson,
a
I would
kid
have got
who's
it.
helping them load the FedEx packages. Like they're late and they're running behind. And he's like, he yells to him. He's like, Nikolai, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Wow, yeah, no.
Nope.
Okay. What a freak! He wants to be smart, but that's lame.
This is a. Stop it.
oh.
Stop it, Nate.
Ben's dead.
Christ!
Wow.
Conowitz Family Films were like
Take that.
VHS tapes from
Not
the
sure we
80s.
had ever had a calm before that storm.
What was the line again?
What a freak! He wants to be smart, but that's lame.
Idiocracy.
No.
That's not a Storm movie.
I don't know.
Who needs the approval of one family member when you can have it from millions of acquaintances?
There's a storm where somebody became King Ralph.
No.
These are kids that are about to get in trouble. though.
Oh, End of Days.
Nope.
End of the Schwarzenegger
that,
film.
that was a real movie.
At least
He's getting closer.
I'm throwing out movies that
Time
sound
Agent.
like
And
End
if
of Days.
there's one thing that Nate considers a storm, it's the arrival of Satan.
Is it Lost in Space?
It's not Lost in Space. Here's another quote
Is
from
that a
this
good?
movie.
That was your good guess voice. It's not Lost in Space, but it's a good guess.
Cheeseburger.
That's the line from the film.
That's the line.
This is a game you wrote.
Cheeseburger.
No, that didn't help. Just do it.
Men in Black.
No. A pizza stuffed inside a turkey, the whole thing deep fried and dipped in chocolate.
Storm movie. Where am I? I'm blanking on all this shit, man. You got
Oh,
me.
whoa,
good
whoa,
here, buddy.
whoa. No.
Alex, what do you got?
Geostorm.
This is the end.
No. Last one. You may have seen a meteor shower, but I bet you've never seen a shower meteor than this.
A cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
It is cloudy with a chance
There
of
you
meatballs.
go.
Oh,
There's a storm in that.
jeez.
Yeah, see?
There's a storm in that. Yeah.
My kids didn't like that movie, so I only watched about
So
half of it.
you left them
Yeah.
at home?
What?
I don't know. They're
Hey,
children.
move
They're allowed
on,
to have their own
Bill
opinions.
Hader lover.
Fix your kid's sense of humor.
I can't do everything.
You got to try.
All right, go. Give me another one.
And now he's jonesing. Storm and Norman Schwarzkopf.
Meg's Gravy is famous. It's practically a food group.
Twister.
Yeah, it's Twister.
I was going to get that.
You didn't though.
Tornado.
Tornado
is what
Alley.
Nate was gonna say.
Tornado the film. Tornado the film.
Spin cloud, spin cloud, spin cloud.
Tornado, a documentary.
All right, last one. You know, people like blood sausage too. People are morons.
Centigrade.
What?
Centigrade.
Did you look up storm movies? And do you know how I know you did this? Is because when I was finding storm movies for this, I typed in movies with storms, and one of the first movies that comes up in the pictures is Centigrade, a movie no one's ever heard
Wait
of,
a minute.
you son of a bitch.
Did you just cheat on your second episode of Go Flix Yourself?
This is grounds for removal
Oh
from the podcast,
my God,
sir.
this is-
It's
this
a good thing Alex is here.
Everything
because
has come
today,
to fruition.
today, we have an announcement on Go Fix Yourself.
Pastor Nate Loucks.
A cheater.
A cheat.
Just for the record, is
No,
it centigrade?
Is it centigrade?
And
You know, moving forward, you're not allowed to have your computer out anymore
I do
on the
love
fucking
that
show.
Centigrade is a film.
And you over here defending him having his computer out. Oh no, he's chiming in with more information that he's looking up, Ben.
I
There's
really
no way
do
that
do
he's
that.
cheating at the fucking games.
All right, move on. Horizon Line. Is it
Oh,
Horizon?
move on.
Oh,
you,
move on.
Oh, you want to brush with the tail? Spoken like a true pastor, Nate.
Let's move on from this. This embarrassing blip.
Nothing to see
I got
here.
another guess. Adrift.
He already got it right.
Wait, no, did I?
Was it Die
We
Hard
did the
2?
last one.
What
No.
did he do?
We haven't done the
I was
last
the only
one.
one that guessed
Oh,
something.
we're on the next one. All right, that's
I was
right.
the only one that guessed something.
You can't guess, Nate. You're out.
Yeah.
For your information, hairdo, there's a major network interested in me.
It's centigrade.
That sounds familiar. That sounds very familiar.
Bruce Almighty.
No.
Nice try. There's a storm in that.
The Anchor.
I make the weather. All this moisture coming up out of the Gulf is going to push off to the east and hit Altoona.
Oh,
Evan Almighty.
No.
I don't think there's a storm in that.
centigrade.
What?
That's centigrade. Don't chime in.
That's a bold claim, my friend, based on the premise of that movie.
Oh, is that the one where
being
he's
about
Noah?
a fucking
Yeah, his
storm
brother's
coming.
Noah. Yeah.
He said, I don't think there's a storm in that.
On Evan Almighty?
Yeah.
The story of Noah's Ark? I don't think there's a story. You should watch that.
It's more just like a consistent rain.
I know, right?
watch that
It's just
movie.
like a heavy drizzle.
Right. Hard Rain. Is it Hard Rain?
Oh,
It's not
it should be
Hard
Hard
Rain.
Rain.
Do you ever have deja vu, Miss Lancaster?
No, this all sounds very familiar.
No, the hairdo thing. I've heard that
and
line. I thought it
the
was nice.
deja vu thing too. Is it
It's really
Independence
ticked me
Day?
off, isn't it?
It's not.
The storm of patriotism at the end.
This is the one time where television really fails to capture the true excitement of a large squirrel predicting the weather.
Groundhog Day.
Day.
Yeah, it's really funny that you guys
Damn.
thought that you've heard this before.
Yeah. That worked out. Especially the deja vu line.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of the only deja vu movie.
And
at that
also,
point in
though,
time.
I'm not thinking storm, but I mean, obviously, there's a storm that traps them in town.
Yeah,
but I
a
wasn't
blizzard.
thinking about that kind
And
of storm.
that's why I picked it.
Okay, it's smart. That was
that was
smart.
good. That was a game.
So at the end of
did
that
it.
game-
So this is the last episode where Nate Loucks will be our co-host, as he's cheated on the games portion, which is an enormous
No
faux
one has
pas.
ever cheated
No one's
before,
ever
Nate.
cheated. Ever. 135 episodes in, no one's ever cheated.
You know how I know that's not true? Because I cheated last week too
oh my God!
I love this.
with my phone.
What?
How
is-
did you cheat?
I don't
is
like
fantastic.
games.
This is. I don't know. We got to rethink
This is earth-shattering.
The whole thing
This
is
is not
falling
good.
apart.
Do you know how I know that's
The
not true?
listeners are going to be upset.
Yeah,
You know
listeners,
how I know
we
that's
are
not
very
true?
sorry. We didn't. We try to present the truth, and we try to present
Do you know how I
things
know
that are.
that's
You know
not
what?
true?
This is
Special-
exactly what happened in Blue Chips, Nate.
Do you know how I know
Is
that's
they
not
pushed
true?
him too far,
And Eddie.
and he started taking money to funnel into the college system, and it wasn't about basketball anymore. It was about winning and money, and you were Blue Chips.
Do you know how to know that's not true? I learned from Alex.
I've never cheated. I don't think.
Well, not on this game anyway.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I've written some games.
we've done some things.
That's
but-
true. He has written some good games before.
Well, I guess that's it for Go Fix Yourself. I don't even want to do this anymore. Nate
Centigrade.
ruined the
Ruined
whole.
Jeez Louise.
Check back next week for fucking vegetables.
What time?
Join us for fucking vegetables.
What time are we at right now?
We're at 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Okay,
That's too long. That's too long.
That's a good place to cut it. Well,
We'll just cut out the game. You want to do another game? And just cut that one out completely?
Yeah, let me-
Just say I won Last Man Standing right now, and then you can edit it in.
Last man, Stanton.
okay, so we just need a new podcast to
Oh,
host all
boy, this
together.
is-
Oh, I
This is-
just love it.
scrap
I
it.
love
Scrap it all.
I love that you know by centigrade.
It's because I literally had to look at those search results 10 times as I was trying to figure out which Storm movies to
You know
do.
what, Brett? Good for you. Thanks for sussing out the fucking cheat in the room.
I've never even heard of the movie.
I'm
Centigrade.
I know, I hadn't either.
I'm not playing cards with
but
you.
I kept seeing it.
I'm not playing trivia games with you. I'm not playing any games with Nate. He's
so
a cheater.
Good.
A liar.
It's so good.
You better not cheat
Let
again
me down.
if you even get a second chance.
We'll see.
Oh, you better believe. I got a watch here with the answers.
This guy's desperate.
That was wife texting him. I know how it works.
Guys, thanks for listening to Go Fix Yourself. If you like the podcast, please rate 5 stars. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to the podcast. An old radio, a hat with a piece of foil on it. Please rate, tell your friends, like our page on Facebook. If you like this podcast, that's all we need is just more people to listen, more people to rate. Please.
You guys don't even know how many times Ben texts us. How many millions of listeners do we have?
Yeah.
Every day.
and every day
how many
he's
listeners.
disappointed.
I'm very disappointed. We're better than this, guys.
But yes,
Well, I thought we were, but then Nate came on and cheated. So I'm not over this.
You guys need to
Alex,
get over
thanks for
this.
being on the show, buddy.
I appreciate it.
We
Thanks
really
for
loved
having
having
me.
you
It was
back,
a lot of
as
fun.
always.
It's
Ben,
good to be
Ben,
back.
Ben, will it make
I'm
you
glad
feel
you
better?
guys are back.
I am glad we're
It
back.
will make you feel better if Brad and I sing you a song.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Nah, cheating, eh?